I wanted to give you guys today sort of the pros and cons of doing a live podcast, because people have been asking me a lot for advice on podcasting or wanting to start their own, or just kind of like they want to know about equipment, the logistics of actually like idea to recorded episode to edited episode to publishing that. So I'm not going to get into all that, but I'm just going to kind of give you the lowdown on this is what is great about doing a live podcast like we do here versus the parts that suck about it. So we'll just jump right away. Pro number one is editing. The editing, which obviously I still do a lot of editing, and editing is the worst part of my existence. But the editing is so much less when you do a live show because of people like McKenna and my homie Salvador and my brother who's helped sometimes, Patrick. All these people have helped behind the scenes before. We live edit the show, meaning they're worrying like, and sometimes it's not always like we don't get it perfect every time because I've even done the clicking before. But basically they're clipping, switching cameras for us. One hidden camera 1, camera 2, which right now today we don't have a camera 2 because there's nobody here. I didn't even set it up. And then they're doing our audio levels in real time, which usually they don't have to do a whole lot on that part, except for sometimes I'm talking way louder than my guest just because I'm up on it like this, and sometimes people are a little nervous. So they do all that ahead of time. So when you do a live show, when you download or if you fully record the whole episode while you're live, you don't have to go back and edit that. You don't have to go back and scene switch and then and do audio levels. Now, it also, the con of that same thing, so con number one is that shit's going to go wrong. I don't know, I think it's Murphy's Law or Murph's Law, I don't know what it is, but it's like if it can happen, it will happen. And it's like levels do get jacked up. Sometimes cameras get messed up. Sometimes my cat headbutts a tripod. Those things are all going to be baked into that video because we burned that all together live. Basically, we're recording all this information all as one thing, and you can't go back and edit an individual piece, if that makes sense. So that's a downside of doing it live. Then a pro number two is, for me at least, that I feel like it's a little bit more exciting and a little bit more performative to do a live show. And I don't mean performative in the sense that like it's like fake or phony, but it does give me like a little bit more energy, like I talked about earlier in the show, where I was in a pretty bad mood, but I know I have this thing. It's like my game. It's like the game day. Like you practice all week and you get to play in the game now. And so I think that it makes it feel like a little bit more of an event, I love doing, pre-recorded episodes when we have to do that to accommodate people's schedules. Like I don't mind doing it, but it is fun. It's to me at least, it's really fun to have like a set time and place where like, this is game time, 6:00 Monday night. We're playing this game of Detox. And it's just kind of fun. Maybe that's like the athlete in me, but I think that makes it gives me a different energy going into every episode. So something to consider if you're considering doing a live show. Now con number two, I'd say, is what we had today, which is people canceling last second, And I gotta say it real quick because we've been having a ton of comedians on lately, all from the Milwaukee scene, which have been fantastic, super funny, super cool people. Comedians are solid, bro. I haven't had a comedian, at least as far as I can remember, maybe McKenna can correct me, I don't think a single comedian has canceled on the show. Not one has canceled on the show. And I can't say that for other genres of guests that we've had on. We've had a lot of musicians on that back out last minute, and sometimes you get people in different genres. This week, I'm not going to tell you who it was, but we did have a photographer bail out on us this week who just ghosted the show today, day of, which kind of sucked. But that's a con number two, is that sometimes if people cancel and you have a set time and place that you're doing the show at, and you've curated your audience to expect things at 6:00 on Monday night for your live show, you're going to have to go live if those people cancel. So it does suck if you plan a show for somebody, a specific guest, which is what I did, and then they back out last minute, or they do what they did today and don't even respond to a message. So that would be con number 2. Now, the last pro that I'll leave you with, or maybe we'll do con number 3, and then we'll do pro number 3, just so we end on a good note. So con number 3 is, in my opinion, is that you as the host are going to be on your toes a little bit more than maybe you would like, and you're going to look potentially even a tiny bit worse at podcasting than maybe you are, because you're live. Sometimes when I meet people, right, if we're doing the show at 6, sometimes people show up at 6, and then we start at 6:15 or 6:30, whatever. We start late because people show up late. I don't even get a chance to talk to these people really, and it's the first time I'm meeting them. And sometimes people are really talkative. Other times they're not. Sometimes, you're asking people about anything, and they're just giving you one-word answers. And as a podcast host, dude, I got to keep it rolling because we live. If it's edited, I would prefer them not give a one-word answer, but I know I could eventually get them into something that they'll talk about, and then you could edit the podcast up however you please. But live, you don't have that. You don't have I don't want to say it's a crutch, but you don't have the advantage of cutting out dead spaces or segments that maybe you're not super proud of, or other things like that, which I do think in turn has made me a better podcast host. Maybe that's just my opinion, because I've had to think on my feet a lot more. And I've had some episodes with great people that just don't have a lot to say. And people that have done production work on this show know that sometimes I'm working triple overtime to make sure that we're not having dead air and that things are staying entertaining and stuff. So that would be con number 3, is that you as the host are going to be on your toes and potentially look a little bit worse at the gig than you actually are. Then what is someone saying now? Oh, okay, so we got people in the comment. I'll get to that in a second. Then for my pro number 3, people. Pro number 3 would be that people get to interact with the show if it's live. So when people are live, like right now, I just got stopped for a second to look at the live chat. But it is fun when we're talking about shit. We're talking about a specific topic or something, or I'm asking for people's opinion on things, and then people can give it to you in real time. That adds a different layer of connectivity to the show. It adds a different layer of intimacy that you can't get if it's just a comment section on a video. Don't get me wrong. We do pre-recorded episodes too every once in a while. I'm not saying don't leave a comment on that. I appreciate that. And I do look at them. I'm not Mr. Beast. I got time. But it's something cool that we have that other shows can't do, because we allow for that. And doing it live, sometimes a certain comment, we've had it many times on this show where certain comments become then a segment on the show, where now we're talking about whatever this person commented for 5-10 minutes. So doing it live gives your audience a chance to do that, and gives you a chance to be spontaneous in a way that's really fun. So that will be the 3 pros, I would say, and the 3 cons of doing a live podcast.
Hey, thanks for watching there, guy. Click right over here if you want to see that episode in its entirety. Or you can click over here and subscribe to the channel. See all the other fun shit we do here. It's really up to you, guy.